Hello everyone. If you enjoy family drama and Reddit stories, I've created a new channel. The link is in the description, where I'll be uploading engaging family drama and other fascinating Reddit stories. Show your support by subscribing and watching the videos. Your support means a lot. Now let's get back to the recap. Seeing the cloaked figure, Marquis Vanderberg wonders whether it is a messenger. However, he quickly realizes that if it were, Kronos would have raised a white flag to signal his intent for peace. Dismissing the thought, he considers the possibility that this figure might be a mage. With this in mind, Marquis Vanderberg orders his soldiers to prepare the ballista. As they ready the weapon, he strategizes. If the cloaked figure is indeed a mage, he can disrupt their spellcasting with a well-aimed shot. At that moment, as Marquis Vanderberg watches the figure begin to cast a spell, he swiftly commands his soldiers to fire. The massive ballista arrow hurtles through the air, aimed directly at the mage. But to everyone's astonishment, the mage halts the projectile mid-flight with sheer magical power. The battlefield's hierarchy of strength is clear. A 5-star warrior is equivalent to a 6th circle mage, while a 6-star warrior matches the prowess of a 7th circle mage. The continent's black sword had reached the formidable level of 6 stars, yet most magic tower monsters wield power at the 7th circle. Beyond that exists a realm beyond the heavens, a domain whispered of in legends, but never confirmed. Until now, the cloaked figure is a white-haired mage, Shepard, an 8th circle mage. Without hesitation, Shepard begins casting, summoning a powerful 8th circle lightning spell and unleashing it toward the Cairo border. The magic barrier, though formidable, barely withstands the strike, flickering under the immense force of the attack. Stunned by this display of power, Marquis Vanderberg watches in disbelief. Even he, despite his limited understanding of magic, knows that the barrier was created by the Phoenix Magic Tower's mages, some of the finest on the continent. Yet, at this rate, the barrier will completely shatter. Realizing the dire situation, Marquis Vanderberg urgently commands his soldiers to maximize the output of the magic barrier. They must buy time, no matter the cost. Responding to his orders, the mages pour their remaining strength into the barrier, increasing its power to its absolute limit. However, the strain proves overwhelming. The mages struggle to sustain the barrier at full power, their energy rapidly depleting. Watching this unfold, Marquis Vanderberg is overcome with a chilling realization. The magic Shepard wields is far beyond the 7th circle. Even while concealing such overwhelming power, the Kronos Empire had already been the strongest nation on the continent. Just how much strength had they been hiding all this time? Then, in a devastating moment, Shepard's magic pierces through the barrier, shattering its defenses entirely. As the wall collapses, the Kronos forces waste no time and charge forward. Seeing this, Marquis Vanderberg immediately orders his soldiers to halt the breach. At the same time, Duke Bamford commands his troops to advance. At that moment, Count Nicholas steps forward, taking down dozens of Kronos soldiers with a single devastating strike. The enemy soldiers recoil in shock, stunned by his overwhelming strength. Raising his voice, Count Nicholas rallies the warriors of Cairo and Dimitry, shouting, "Do not falter. The Western Front will not fall so easily." Among the Kronos ranks, a soldier yells that Count Nicholas is alone, assuring his comrades that they can defeat him together. However, before they can act, Count Nicholas wastes no time, swiftly taking them down without hesitation. Suddenly, a few of the Kronos knights propel themselves through the air, using their aura to maneuver with supernatural agility. Count Nicholas is taken aback. Flying knights are a rare and dangerous sight. As they close in, the knights coordinate their attack, striking at him from multiple directions. Just as their blades are about to land, Chris comes rushing in from behind. "Get down," he shouts. Without hesitation, Count Nicholas ducks, and with a single, powerful strike, Chris blocks the combined assault of the Kronos knights, pushing them back with sheer force. Watching this, Count Nicholas is astonished. Chris has grown far stronger than he had imagined. Chris turns to him. "Are you all right?" Count Nicholas grins. "Fight by my side, Chris. Let's push them back." Chris responds without hesitation. "Yes, of course." Meanwhile, the scene shifts to Flora Lawrence, who anxiously calculates their odds. To successfully execute Roman's plan, they need at least 3 days. Initially, Flora believed this was achievable, but with the fortress wall collapsing on the first day, all calculations became meaningless. Realizing the dire situation, she turns to Marquis Vanderberg, stating bluntly that they have no chance of victory under these circumstances and that he must initiate Plan B. Frustrated yet resolute, Marquis Vanderberg gives the order: the fortress must be abandoned, and the soldiers must retreat to the rear. Plan B requires them to leave behind all war supplies, luring the enemy into the fortress before Dimitry detonates preset explosives, dealing a devastating blow to Kronos. Upon hearing that Plan B has been activated, Chris turns to Count Nicholas and insists they must help their allies retreat safely. Just then, an overwhelming presence emerges on the battlefield. Hannibal, a rank 2 warrior of Kronos and the third-ranked warrior on the continent, steps forward. Hannibal's gaze locks onto Chris, a smirk forming on his lips. "So, you're the Flash of Cairo," he muses. Then, aloud for all to hear, he ponders an even greater mystery: Roman's true identity. Not only does Roman surpass the 6-star level, Hannibal remarks, but he also raised a swordsman like Chris in a place like Dimitry. Truly remarkable. Both Chris and Count Nicholas are stunned to see Hannibal on the battlefield. The realization dawns upon Chris. Hannibal's presence confirms that the Kronos Second Order has also joined the war. A chilling truth settles in his mind. If he fights here today, he will not leave this battlefield alive. Looking up at the sky, Chris reflects on his dream, to one day surpass Lord Roman. But now, it seems that dream will remain unfulfilled. Steeling himself, he prepares to face Hannibal. Just then, Count Nicholas steps forward, his voice firm as he declares, "I will hold this place." He knows that for the battles ahead, both Roman and Chris are essential, and he is willing to sacrifice himself to ensure their survival. With unwavering resolve, he promises, "I will follow you soon, after I defeat Hannibal." Chris is shocked. "Count Nicholas," he calls out, but Nicholas cuts him off. "Go now," he commands. Frustrated yet knowing he has no choice, Chris clenches his fists and shouts, "I won't forget what happened today," before turning and fleeing the battlefield. As Chris disappears into the distance, Count Nicholas watches him go, entrusting Cairo's future to him. Hannibal, observing the exchange, smirks. "Who said Chris can escape?" he remarks casually. Before Hannibal can act, Count Nicholas channels his aura into his sword, unleashing a powerful strike aimed directly at the formidable warrior. The attack lands with full force, but when the dust settles, Hannibal remains standing, completely unfazed. Seeing this, Count Nicholas smiles grimly. "I've always wanted to test myself against a top-tier ranker like you," he mutters, gripping his sword tightly as the battle begins. Hannibal inquires about Nicholas's rank in Cairo, to which Count Nicholas introduces himself, declaring that he is the greatest sword of Cairo. Hearing this, Hannibal scoffs, stating that Nicholas does not know his place. As Count Nicholas charges forward, Hannibal, wielding his aura-infused sword, effortlessly dodges his strikes with swift precision. Nicholas, undeterred, reflects on his lifelong struggle to reach the 6-star level. Through his duel with Roman, he had transcended that barrier, stepping beyond the limits of the 6-star, a realm he had longed to enter. Determined, Count Nicholas unleashes his secret technique, demolition, striking with full force at Hannibal. However, to his shock, Hannibal blocks the attack with just the tip of his sword, barely exerting effort. Smirking, Hannibal mocks him. Is this all the so-called #1 in Cairo has to offer? In an instant, Hannibal retaliates, overwhelming Count Nicholas with multiple strikes. The relentless assault leaves Nicholas seriously injured and collapsing to the ground. Stepping forward, Hannibal looms over him and, with a menacing tone, remarks, "Let me tell you something interesting." Officially, Hannibal is rank #2, but within Kronos, there are many warriors stronger than him. If Count Nicholas cannot even defeat Hannibal, it means that Dimitry and Cairo never had a chance to begin with. Furthermore, Kronos had anticipated Dimitri's plan to detonate the fortress from the very beginning. With that, Hannibal delivers the final blow, taking Count Nicholas down. The scene then shifts to the other side of the fortress, where Flora orders her subordinates to detonate the explosives. As the explosion is triggered, at that very moment, Shepard casts a powerful spell, creating a barrier that instantly surrounds and neutralizes the explosives, stopping the detonation completely. Flora is left in shock, unable to believe what she just witnessed. Meanwhile, Duke Bamford observes the scene, thinking to himself that the weak always resort to predictable choices. Turning to Shepard, he acknowledges his efforts. "You did well." Shepard responds humbly. "It was nothing." With victory in sight, Duke Bamford raises his voice, rallying the Kronos soldiers. The enemy is cornered. Seize the momentum and crush Cairo. In perfect unison, the Kronos forces respond, "Understood," before surging forward with renewed determination. Yet, as everything proceeds smoothly, a lingering unease settles over Duke Bamford. He can't shake the feeling that something is strangely ominous. The reason Cairo is buying time by abandoning the fortress remains unclear. Even as the Western Front crumbles, Roman has yet to reveal himself. Could Cairo's desperate attempt to stall for time be connected to Roman's absence? The scene then shifts to Cordis, a region in eastern Kronos, where Roman stands atop a cliff alongside one of his subordinates, Nelson. Observing the area, Nelson remarks on the tight security, to which Roman responds calmly, "From here on, I'll secure the path." Without hesitation, Roman leaps from the cliff, sprinting toward the Kronos western border, effortlessly running along the walls with inhuman agility. Nelson watches in shock, struggling to believe what he's witnessing. Suddenly, a rope drops down from the wall. Nelson grabs hold and climbs to the top. Reaching the summit, Nelson is once again left speechless. Roman has already defeated all the guards on his own. Without wasting time, Roman turns to Nelson and commands, "Stay close and follow me." Flustered, Nelson quickly nods, replying, "Yes." Moving swiftly, they arrive at a sealed room. Roman stops and turns to Nelson, stating, "From here on, it's your turn." Nelson nods with determination, responding, "Leave it to me." Inside the room lies Kronos' warp gate, the key to their next move. As Nelson touches the gate, a siren blares. They've been detected. Unfazed, Roman gives a final command, "Focus on your task. I'll handle the enemies."